Hello, my friends, you magnificent manifestors. How's 2022 treating you so far? So happy to be here with you, my beautiful brothers and sisters. This is something that is so amazing for me. I just love being here with you. And I don't care how many people are watching because I know somewhere along the line it's going to make a difference for somebody. Every time I slow down, someone says, "Hey, man, what's going on? I need your help with such and such." And I love that. I love being an influencer. I love being in a place where I can help people out. And this is episode 5, my friends, of your best year ever. This is a training from Michael Hyatt, and it's made a huge impact for me. I am so pleased that I can share this with you. And it's really filled out my goal setting techniques and planning and so on and so forth. And I just had to share it with you because how in the world can we get our lives straight and do the things that we need to do if we don't set goals? All right, my friends, episode 5. Tonight we're talking about making it happen. And I'm so happy that I can be here to help you make it happen. In the last episode, I talked about the importance of identifying and connecting with the motivations for each of your goals. We got to be motivated to work on our goals. We got to be in that place where it actually matters for us to be wanting to be in that place and set our goals. And that's, of course, our motivations. Now, I mentioned that it was important because inevitably you're going to find yourself in the shit where your motivation is weak, if not dead. You're going to find yourself up against it. Life is going to happen. And you're going to wondering, where is my mojo? Where is my motivation? So, of course, having your motivations is a game changer. You got to have them identified. You got to have them in a place where you can review them. And you've got to give it an opportunity to drive your stamina to finish when you feel like quitting. Now, we all get there. We all get to this place where we feel like quitting. Even I get there. Everybody I know gets there. And some people even actually quit. This is the time of year where are you a quitter or are you a finisher? What's it going to be? You've made some New Year's resolutions. You've put yourself in a place where you want to make some changes in your life. What is it going to be for you, my friends? So I'm just going to recap a little bit. I just want to share a few things with you with our journey so far. We covered a lot of ground in the past while, and I gave it a little bit of a break so you could absorb what was going on and live your life through the Christmas holidays. Now, remember in episode 1, we said that we were going to help you, or I said that we were going to help you create your best year ever. To do that, you got to believe in the possibility. And there's 3 truths that go with that. I shared that with you in episode 1. In episode 2, I shared a proven system to complete the past. That's to connect what you got well done and what you didn't get well done and fill in that gap and understand what the difference is. Episode 3, I showed you the 7-step framework of smarter goals, not just SMART goals, but smarter goals. Episode 4, which was last night, I gave you the 4 actions to help you identify your why. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk about making it happen. Now it's time. We've gone through all the steps, all the preparation, all the thinking, all the imagining, all the goal setting. It's time to make it happen. So go ahead, open up your Word document or your Google document, or get your sheet out, whatever it is that you're working with. Now it's time to make things happen. So just to share with you that I get stuck, and whenever I get stuck and I need to get going, I found the most important thing is to just get started. Procrastination sucks. We all have dealt with it in the past. And the best thing is to just get started. You don't have to have everything figured out. Just get moving. Just start. Turn something on, open something up, whatever the case may be. But just get started. Just get moving. So Michael Hyatt tells a story about a couple of years ago how a friend sent him to a Tony Robbins conference. Now, you know that Tony Robbins is very influential. He's very inspiring. And Michael decided to sit in the first row. And on that first night, Tony Robbins started talking about walking on fire. And Michael shares with me, or us, in the program that I've read through this, that he was a little bit naive, and he thought it was just a metaphor for overcoming adversity. And at some point in the evening, it dawned on him that this was no metaphor. They're going to be actually walking on fire, literally walking on fire. And that's what they did. Now, you've seen this before, I'm sure. If you haven't, by all means, just Google or go on YouTube or go on Facebook, so the best search engines in the world, and just look up Walking on Fire with Tony Robbins. Okay. So in the meantime, Tony's people had set up a bed of coals in the local hotel parking lot. It was 20 feet long, 1,200 degrees hot, and they all walked across it without injury. Now, I've never done that before. I've watched videos of it. I've heard people tell me the story of having done so. But the most important thing that Michael Hyatt learned about this from this experience is that once you get started, you're very likely to finish. Now, you're not going to stop in that middle of that coal bed and just stand there. You're going to keep going. And I would like to give it a try one day if I'm ever in a place where I can walk over fire. And they've done lots of different research and so on and so forth about it. But it's like that with our goals too, my friends. The most important aspect of making it happen is simply starting. You don't have to see the end from the beginning. All you need to do is see the next step. And the very next step, it's a lot like walking through a forest at night. You begin to see a few steps, so you walk those few steps. You walk a little further, and then you can see a few more steps, then you can walk a little further. And as it turns out, setting goals is only half the job. The other half is taking definitive action, my friends. You've got to make it happen. In this final episode, this is the last one, my friends, and this is where I'm going to be leaving you alone to work on setting your goals and going through all the steps that I shared with you. And by all means, let me know if you're having any trouble with this process. It really set me into a new place, a new mental state to go through this exercise and set up my own goals. And I'd be more than happy, more than honored if you were to reach out and say, hey, man, you know what? I'm a little stuck. I'd like some help. I am here for you if you need that help. And in the meantime, by all means, if you'd like to leave a comment as we talk or later on, let me know if you're watching the replay. Let me know where you're watching from. But in the meantime, right now, I'm going to share 12 steps to help you get started and make sure that you are building your practices for the best year ever. Step 1, get off your butt. And I'm not talking about your butt with 2 T's. I'm talking about your butt, your excuses. Here's some examples. Well, I could do that, but I started a new job. Or I could do it, but I don't have the energy. But. Or I could do that, but I have small children. Look, we all have our challenges. I have mine, you have yours. Everybody has their own challenges. Life happens. And lots of people make excuses rather than making it happen. Excuses are the safe zone, the comfort zone, the place where nothing changes, nothing happens. You just do the same thing over and over again, and years go by, and you wonder why nothing has changed. And that's when the excuses have ruled your life. And please, my friends, don't let the excuses rule your lives, because you're going to stay stuck. And you're not going to achieve your best year ever if you let those butts become your excuses. It's time to get off your butt, so to speak, and take definitive action. Step 2, don't overthink it. Just worry about the next step. Detailed plans are terrific, but, right, even if, of course, you need them if you're going to build a nuclear sub or something like that, but for most projects that you and I are going to end up with, most goals that we're going to set in our lives, that kind of detail is overkill. It's not necessary, and it actually stops you from even getting started, let alone succeeding. And this is all about succeeding. We want you to set your goals. It's the new year. It's January the 5th, 2022. We want to get in that place where we are making a difference for ourselves. We are excited about what's going to change in our lives. 2022 is needs to be the year that we live without fear, where we get in that place, we take back our lives and get ourselves back in charge of who we are meant to be and what we are meant to do. So don't worry about building elaborate plans. Just keep it simple. Keep it super simple, as one of my mentors says. And of course, if you go in these, this huge data dive building elaborate plans, you can end up with a huge case of analysis paralysis if you're not careful. Don't go there. I've had that happen to me. I don't want that to happen to you. And trust me, you don't either. You've got too much to accomplish, too many things to change. Too many things have not changed that we need to change in the past couple of years. You've got lots to accomplish, and this is where it's going to start. So, what's the next action you need to take? Don't overthink it. Just decide what it is and get started. Don't let it beat you up. It's like eating an elephant one bite at a time. And that's where step 3 comes in. Chunk down your goals. Anybody can eat an elephant one bite at a time. It's when we try to do it all at once that we choke. And the same is with our goals list, my friends. If you're going to set up your goals list on all 10 of your life domains, it's a lot. It's going to take you some time. So I'm warning you right now, it's manageable, but be in that place where you realize that, eyelash in my eye here, that you can do it. Just think of it one goal at a time. Any goal is manageable, one action at a time. But when we try to think of everything to be done all at once, we end up with a tangle, and the project starts to seem too big. And it gets big enough, you can think of it as its own postal code. The good news is that you only really need to focus on the next action. That's it, just the next action. Take the next action and then the next, and eventually you'll arrive at the end. Now, Michael shares, if you actually end up purchasing this course or doing it through any particular coaching program that you might be in the place of, he talks about how when he started putting this course together for the first time, he almost got stuck thinking about all the stuff that had to be done at the beginning, the production, the schedule, the scripts, all the different details. And trust me, he would still be thinking about it if that's where he started and that's where he stayed. But instead, you know what he did? He created a file folder for each of the 5 days. That's all he did on day 1, just 5 file folders. That's it. And this is also how I get things chunked down when I'm creating a program or setting up a course or dealing with market research. I don't try to come up with all the answers all at once. I just take one step at a time. Okay. Then he just decided what was going to be in the theme of day 1. Then he decided what would be the theme of day 2. And he just harnessed the power of incremental change slowly over time. He chunked it down. He worked one step at a time, one day at a time. And he moved towards the goal one step at a time. So step 4 is important. It's get it on the calendar, my friends. You want to get things scheduled. What gets scheduled gets done. And if it doesn't get on my calendar, it's very unlikely to happen. Lots of people try to say, hey, man, let's do such and such. And I say, well, let's book a time on the calendar. And they say, well, what about this day? And what about that day? And it just gets all muddled. And just let's book it on the calendar so I know and you know, and we can just get it done, make it happen. You're not going to find time in the leftover hours in the day if you don't set up a calendar. If you plan to have a business or build a business or have any really good goal setting programs or anything where you want to have an accomplishment, solid accomplishment day after day, you need to set up a calendar, make appointments with yourself, and get into it and do it, and just day by day accomplish those goals. And you've got to make time for it, my friends. You've got to make it a priority. You've got to keep an appointment with yourself, like a commitment, just like you would keep with anybody else. Step 5, honor those commitments. There's a huge difference between saying I'm going to try to make something happen and saying I'm going to make something happen. Trust me, my friends, I've had clients where they say, well, I'll try this and I'll try that. And as soon as they say the word try, I already know that that's about as far as they're going to go. They're going to give it a go. And if it works, great. Yay. And if it doesn't, they're going to say it's my fault and they didn't do the work. But you've got to be willing to commit, and you've got to be willing to fully commit without seeing the end result. The problem is until you fully commit, you will not work consistently. There was a mountain climber, a Scottish mountain climber named W.H. Murray. And he said this: until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance or the desire to draw back, always falling back on ineffectiveness. And of course, concerning all acts of initiative and creativity, there is one elementary truth. But the moment that you definitely commit yourself, that's when providence moves too. It's the same thing with the law of attraction, my friends. All sorts of things will manifest to help you with that would never otherwise have occurred as soon as you commit, as soon as you give the universe the signal that you're in, all in. Boom. No fooling around. A whole stream of events are going to present themselves from the very simple decision to commit. And they're going to be created in our favor in all manner of unforeseen incidents. All sorts of things are going to start happening: meetings, manifestations, things that nobody could have dreamed would come your way. And if you don't commit, you might have a decent year, but it's not going to be your best year ever. Trust me on this, my friends. It's very important that you focus and you commit. Step 6, review your goals and your key motivations. I spoke about key motivations, getting it emotionally connected into your heart. You know that if you write these goals down and connect to the motivations and review them, keep them top of mind, review them every day if you can, keep your motivations focused, give them a review once a week if you can't get it every day, but stay on top of those goals, what they mean to you, and the motivations that keep you going every day. You can do this in a physical journal. You can do it in a binder with your worksheets, your documents. You can do it on your Google, your Word document. Use any software solution of your choice, but whatever works for you. I mean, even print it out and hang it on the wall like a vision board, but be in that place where you're committed and you're reviewing and you're journaling and you're keeping track of what you are doing. There was a professor in a university. Her name was Cheryl Travers. She tracked some of her students who not only wrote down their goals, but journaled about their progress. And she came to that great self-awareness about their goals and their progress, that once they're pursuing them, there was greater impact. Once they were following their own progress, there was better creativity. They were better able to analyze what was holding them back and what it would take to keep them moving forward, because this is part of what stops us when we have our goals. This is why people fall off of their New Year's resolutions, because they're not staying committed. They're not reviewing what they promised to themselves and other people. And of course, if you consider, similar results for people pursuing health and fitness goals, reviewing your goals and your motivations will help you keep fresh, committed. You'll be self-checking. You'll be analyzing, finding a way to build up your resolve and stimulate creative problem solving. You want to be in that place where you're being flexible. You're able to just not stop because you're willing to dig in and make it happen. Number 7, step 7, share your goals selectively. Now, there's a couple of schools of thought on this. At first, when I started doing this sort of thing, I shared my goals with everybody, anybody that would listen. I even posted them online. And then I heard someone in a TED Talk said that when you share your goals with everyone, it actually makes them less likely to happen. Why is that? Because your brain experiences the same sense of psychological satisfaction as if you'd already accomplished the goal, and it works against you. I hemmed and hawed when I read that, and I think, what? I also remember reading some research, and I remember that other person saying that, people that write down their goals, and we talked about writing our goals already, and sharing them with supportive friends is the part that I'm talking about now, or family. Keep them a little bit private, but share them. You'll do much better than if you don't share them at all, and you'll do much better than if you share them with everybody. So kind of keep that middle ground when you're sharing your goals. And of course, you got to be in that place where you're trusting and you're being selective with the friends or family that you're sharing with people who understand what goal setting processes are all about, people that are willing to hold you accountable, that maybe you could even hold them accountable and have a bit of an accountability group. But Also, you want people that are going to call us out when we start making excuses. Don't let us fall off the bandwagon. And we need people that are going to support our goals as we're working towards them and compliment and say, hey, I'm noticing that there's a difference. I'm noticing that you're more consistent, or whatever the case may be. Step 8, more consistency means more momentum. Momentum feels great, my friends. Our personal well-being improves with every check off on our list. Every time we get closer to our goals, we get a greater sense of confidence, excitement, personal success. And that's why you can't afford to procrastinate, my friends. You've got to get started. And once you get started, it's difficult to stop. But once you stop, it's difficult to get restarted. So, as the prior steps that I shared with you help you get up to speed, you've got to stay focused on your momentum. Now, here's how I learned to do it. Every morning I look at my goals, and this didn't happen overnight. I struggled with making my goals happen, and I still do have a couple of challenges with some goals. But I look at my goals in the morning. I find the next action on that relevant goal, and I make sure that it's part of my tasks for the day. And then I work on getting them done the first thing. Now, of course, I have various tasks or goals that are scheduled throughout the day, but they're on my calendar. And I have reminders that help me go, oh, yeah, okay, block time for this, do that, get into that next place, and keep checking goal items off. Maintaining that momentum is important. You've got to maintain that momentum, my friends, or you will fall off your goals and you will drop your resolutions and you will not have your best year ever. Step 9, my friends, plan for the shit to happen. Plan for obstacles and make contingency plans for those obstacles. Sit back and think, now what's going to get in my way? It's kind of like running hurdles. You know there's going to be an obstacle on a regular basis, and if you aren't planning for it, you're going to lose momentum. You're going to start tripping up. You're just not going to be able to get around those obstacles. And the only thing that really matters is the goal. That's all that matters, my friend. So the best way to make the hurdles seem lower is to plan for them in advance. You know they're coming. Be ready for them. When I was a manager in the corporate world, my goal was to leave the office every day at 3 p.m. on the nose. The whole idea was to avoid traffic and be with my family as much as possible because I started quite early. But I would get phone calls. I would get coworkers coming to talk. Last minute meetings would happen. And of course, various other things. Sometimes nothing, sometimes too many things. But every new thing that came towards the time when I was supposed to be leaving required me to decide what matters most, leaving at 3 p.m. or dealing with those so-called urgent requests that kept coming up. And it can wear down your resolve, and suddenly you're walking out the door at 3:45 and you're stuck in traffic, and it's a long time before you get home. To get past these obstacles, I used what's called implementation intentions or contingency plans, whatever you want to call it. But they're designed to address the unexpected things that might keep me late. Here's 4 examples. If I got a phone call after 2:45 and I'm supposed to be leaving at 3 o'clock, I'd let it go to voicemail. If I had a colleague walk in the office and say, hey, I want to talk to you, I'm saying, well, look, I'm getting ready to leave, and you need to understand that I'm getting ready to leave. So, we can talk about this tomorrow, okay? Can't do it right now. If I had a meeting request for 2 p.m., I would tell the organizer that, hey, you know what? At 10 minutes to 3, I need to get ready to leave. And then, of course, I would prepare everything before the meeting so that I wouldn't have to do it in a rush. If I had an email show up at the end of the day, or I was checking them towards the end of the day, I would start checking them soon enough so that I wouldn't get stuck late. And if another one came in after 2:45, I would leave it till the next day. You get the idea. But whatever your goal is, the trick is to simply think through the contingencies and the obstacles that will prevent you from achieving it. Lots of stuff could happen. That's only 4 examples. But you got to be prepared for there to be more or anything. And stick to it. Be firm. Be consistent. And you know what? The second they occur, you're going to maybe need a little bit of imagination to think through what they are. but it's going to be worth it. And you're going to find that it becomes second nature. Okay. Second nature. If you just manage to hold on to these things, and it'll smooth out the friction that you experience. It'll keep your momentum going, and it'll give you an easier way to overcome these obstacles. And like I said, once you've done it a few times, it'll be like second nature. So now, step 10, my friends, this is so important. Ask for help if you need it. Slowdowns are going to occur. You're going to get overwhelmed with other things, other tasks, other projects, other jobs, and they can grind you to a halt, and they'll block you from your goal setting and your goal achieving like you will not believe. If you're not making the progress that you want to see, consider getting some help, outside help. It could be a friend, accountability partner, or even a professional. Here's an example that I used. I was having a little bit of a trouble with accountability on some on-demand training that I was doing. I couldn't make any progress. I kept getting blocked. I couldn't get started. I just couldn't develop any solid momentum. So what did I do? I hired a tough as nails business coach, and I started connecting with him once a week. Suddenly, I was getting solid momentum because this guy was tough as nails. I did not want to let him down. And there you go. Boom. I was building momentum, and you just got to be willing to commit, willing to do whatever it takes. Remember, get off your butt and get into motion. Step 11, don't forget to pivot. Sometimes, no matter what you do, you're going to run into obstacles that threaten to kill your momentum. Stop you dead. And you can avoid that by being flexible. Change your approach. Your goals may be sacred, but your strategy doesn't need to be. And that's all that matters, is whether it works. The answer is no. Feel free to chuck it out the window and try something else. Don't be stuck, married to something that isn't going to work. If you're married to your strategies and they fail you, you're toast. And we don't want to be toast. We want to have the best year ever. And if you let that happen, your goals are going to suffer. But if we're committed to our goals, we can confidently pivot on our strategies as often as we need to hit our goals. Whatever it takes to win, do what it takes to win. Now, I'm going to tell you something that won't surprise you. I'm an achiever. And, stopping to celebrate was something that was very difficult for me for a long time. And, once I check off the goal, I'm on to the next thing. I don't even think about it. But if you're going to make progress and you want to have your best year ever, you got to slow down and celebrate. And you got to celebrate those milestones along the way. As it happens, celebrate those wins, validate the work. Don't skip the celebration, because if you do, you devalue the effort, and it makes it so much less fun. You want to have fun, and that's why it's so critical to dance right across that mile marker. Bring your family into it, bring your staff into it, but take time to celebrate and acknowledge that you accomplished that goal. Reinforce it. Let it sink into your nervous system and let it power you across the goal line. Now, if you take these 12 steps, I'm confident you can make this your best year ever. It's the difference between planning your work and working your plan. So you know the drill. If you haven't already opened up your document, go ahead and do it now. I've got a couple of extra things for you to do. First of all, go through your goal list and identify the next action for each goal. You don't need a lot of detail. Just don't overthink it. Just pick the next most obvious action, the one that you can execute first, or that you need to execute first. And then, just like walking through the forest, as you have the next vision, the next goal will become clear, the next action will become clear, and just keep populating your task list with your next items. Just keep going. Second, schedule this stuff, my friends. Get all this stuff for at least a month on your calendar. I use Google Calendar, and it's very powerful. Lots of people use Outlook, whatever the case may be, but it's got to be on your calendar. It's going to make a huge help for you. It's going to be a big bonus because you need to book these appointments with yourself, schedule it with yourself, so that the urgency of other things don't take priority over the importance of your goals. Your best year ever is important. You've chosen to do this. Take it seriously. Commit to it. If you don't book those dates, it's not going to happen, my friends. And finally, schedule some time for review. Review your goals. Review your key motivations. Try to get this in once a week, and then once a month, and then once a quarter. Review, review. The important thing is to get it on your calendar. Then the second most important thing is to review it so that you can adjust it. If it's not working, change it. There you have it. That's it. All 5 episodes done. You are now on your way to your best year ever. Now, you're not here by accident. And I don't think you watch these episodes by accident. There's something big here for you. There's something at stake here for you. It's important. It's critically important that you follow through. It's not just about you. Other people are counting on you. I'm counting on you. I want you to experience your best year ever. Go make it happen, my friends. Now, remember, one of those steps was if you need help, ask for it. If you need professional help, ask me for that professional help. I'm more than happy to step up and be that professional for you. I would love to be in that place where I can help you have your best year ever. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, by all means, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you're always prepared for what's coming. And wherever else you might be watching, follow me, connect with me, whatever the case may be, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any comments. I would be more than happy to reach out to you on an individual basis and support your best year ever. Much love, my friends. We will see you on the next episode. Much love.